I'm your host, Sean Grande, and today we're cooking corned beef and rice. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's what's in the pot. Thank you very much for tuning into What's in the Pot. So today we're making corned beef and rice, and the corned beef I'm using is Bully Beef brand corned beef, which I got from buyeasy.com. So shout out to buyeasy.com for hooking me up with that. And we're gonna start with half a cup of onion, finely chopped, and about 3 cloves of garlic. We're gonna let the onions and garlic saute for a couple minutes. Once that's been sauteing, we're gonna be adding 1/3 of a cup of bell peppers chopped up. And make sure you let all these veggies saute a little bit together for maybe a couple minutes. Once that's been sauteing, we're gonna go ahead and add 1 Scotch bonnet pepper. Now, if you don't like the heat or you don't wanna add that extra heat, you don't have to add the Scotch bonnet pepper. I'm adding about 1/4 of a cup of chopped tomatoes and 1 ají dulce pepper. If you don't have an ají dulce pepper, you can go ahead and use a fresh pimento pepper. I had that on hand, so I just like using it. It's very similar taste to a pimento. And I'm also going to be adding 1 teaspoon of Bertie's pimento seasoning, which I got from calubox.com. And we're going to let everything saute together for a bit before we start adding our corned beef. Now, if you're a pro, you'll definitely be able to take the bottom of that corned beef can off. I wasn't able to, as it always happens, the key breaks. Comment below if you're a pro at taking off the corned beef with the key. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add that corned beef in there and just gonna mash it up as we would like if we're adding any kind of ground meat, and we're gonna let that cook together with the veggies and the peppers and the onions and the garlic. After about 5 minutes, you can see all those flavors coming out, that little bit of oil and that juices from the corned beef. Now I'm going to add 1 packet of this Badia Sazon seasoning, about a teaspoon of Badia Complete seasoning, and just a dash, maybe half a teaspoon of this Slap Your Mama Cajun seasoning. If you don't have that, you can use any kind of Cajun seasoning you have in your pantry. Now let's mix all those spices together, and that's going to bring in the beautiful flavors of the seasonings with the peppers and the onions. I'm also going to be adding salt and pepper to taste. If you don't want to add too much salt, you don't have to add your salt at this point. I like to just add a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Now, for most people, they're looking to look at this and be like, yo, this corned beef is done. What else are you going to add to this? Now, I like my corned beef with a little bit of sauce. So I'm going to add a little bit of ketchup, probably about 2 tablespoons of ketchup and 1 cup of water. Now, you'd be scratching your head, but I like my corned beef and rice with a little bit of sauce. I don't like my rice dry. So we're gonna let this cook for maybe about 5 to 10 minutes until the sauce and the water and the tomato ketchup thickens in. And I'm also gonna be adding 1 teaspoon of green seasoning just to bring out the flavor right towards the end. Give that one good mix. Let that saute for a couple more minutes. And this is our final product. You can see that corned beef is cooked perfectly. There's the veggies, the peppers, everything. And you just serve it with some rice. It's absolutely delicious. I can eat this every single day. Thank you very much for tuning into What's in the Pot. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, stay safe and stay blessed. Peace.
Let's go.
Welcome to What's in the Pot. I'm your host, Sean Grande, and today I'm going to show you how to make barbecue chicken and fried rice Trini style, but we're using some Rectech dry rubs. Shout out to Rectech, shout out to Jody, the whole Rectech team for hooking us up with these beautiful dry rubs to try for our video today. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's What's in the Pot. Thank you very much for tuning in to What's in the Pot. I'm your host, Sean Grande. So for my recipe today, I'm using 5 pieces of chicken legs. I'm going to start with 1 teaspoon of Trinidad green seasoning. I'll post the recipe on how to make this green seasoning in the link above and in the description below, so you know how to go ahead and make it. This is what's going to give the chicken its distinct flavor. Once we season our chicken with this, we're going to let this sit in the fridge maybe 2 to 3 hours. And if you have the time, let it sit overnight, because that chicken's going to absorb all that flavor of that green seasoning. Now I'm using this Ben's Heifer Dust. This is from Rectech. You can see it got a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic, ancho chili powder. It has a little bit of everything. So this is what we want to do to start seasoning our chicken. This is the second layer of seasoning our chicken, and be liberal when you're using some of these dry rubs. You just want to make sure the chicken gets coated, completely coated. So the back end of the chicken has that Trinidad green seasoning, and on the top we're going to be coating it with this Ben's Heifer Dust from Rectech. So go ahead, season it on one side. We're going to flip it over onto the other side. And this is our chicken here. Has a nice thick coating on both sides. We're going to go ahead and pop this into the pellet grill at 350 degrees. So I got it on the grill. I'm going to let this sit on one side for 30 minutes, and I know my drip tray needs cleaning. But let's go ahead and start making that fried rice. So for the fried rice, I'm going to start scrambling up 2 eggs. You can use 3 eggs if you want a little bit more egg. But once we scramble up those eggs, we're going to start adding our rice. Now the rice I'm using is long grain parboiled white rice. You can go ahead and use jasmine rice, or you can just use regular white rice. I like parboiled rice. That's my personal favorite. So this is what I'm using for the fried rice. One thing is, when you're doing fried rice, make sure you either do the rice first thing in the morning and let that sit in the fridge, or let that sit out so it cools, or make it overnight. Now we're going to start seasoning up the rice a little bit. So we're going to do a little bit of black pepper. If you got white pepper, you can also use that. And the black pepper and the salt that we're adding, I'm using some pink Himalayan salt. This is just for flavor. So salt and pepper for taste. Not a lot, not a little. You just want to add the right amount so you can go ahead and taste it. Now this is where Rectech comes in with our seasoning for our fried rice. I'm using this Asian Persuasion. This is Jody's Asian Persuasion. It's got a little bit of honey. It's got a little bit of sriracha. It's got a little bit of everything, man. These Rectech sauces are absolutely delicious. And now I'm adding about maybe 2 teaspoons right now, and I'm going to add a little bit more later on. Now it's not Trini style fried rice if you don't add some 5-spice. So I'm going to add half a teaspoon of 5-spice powder. This is the Chief brand 5-spice powder I'm using that I got from CaliBox.com. So you can use any kind of 5-spice powder that you can find in your local grocery store. Now I'm adding some soy sauce. Now I'm adding a little bit of this dark mushroom soy sauce, maybe about a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons. You don't want to add too much because you don't want it too dark. Also, the dark mushroom soy sauce can be very salty as well. One thing I totally forgot to do is add my garlic and ginger to fry up with the egg at the beginning. So I just made a little spot so we can saute up, then mix it back in to the rest of the fried rice to give that garlic and ginger flavor. I'm going to go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of oyster sauce. Now you can use any kind of oyster sauce you have on hand, or whatever you find at your local grocery. I'm also adding 2 small bell peppers chopped. If you don't have the colorful bell peppers, you go ahead and add maybe about 1/4 cup of a green pepper chopped up. And I'm also adding about 1/2 cup of shredded carrots. Now the shredded carrots, the peppers, and the green seasoning. So that same green seasoning we used to season the chicken, we'll be adding that in our fried rice. This is what gives that Trinidad fried rice and barbecue flavor. And our final kind of vegetable ingredient we'll be adding is some green onions. This is 2 stalks of green onions chopped up very fine. And we're going to be adding some more of this Asian Persuasion dry rub. Now what happens is at the end, we want to give it a little bit more flavor. We want to give it a little bit more of that little bit of kick that the dry rub gives you. So we just want to put it right towards the end so that flavors are just right there as soon as you taste it. And the final ingredient, anytime you're making any kind of Chinese food, the last thing you want to add is that sesame oil. That sesame oil will perfume the whole room. It'll also bring out a beautiful flavor in your fried rice or noodles or whatever you're cooking. Now let's get back onto the grill and check out this chicken. This chicken has been cooking for 30 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and give it a flip. You can see you're getting a little bit of a grill mark there, which is fine, because you know on the pellet grills you're not gonna get a heavy sear because the temperature is not extremely high like your regular grill, which is cool. So we're gonna flip it and we're gonna put it back on the grill for about another 30 minutes. Now we're gonna go ahead and brush it on. I'm cooking this chicken for maybe about 1 hour and 10 minutes max, until it's at least 170, 175 cooked completely. So I flipped it and I'm adding that Rectech sweet and spicy barbecue sauce. After that, flip it every couple minutes until both sides get that sauce kind of caramelized into the chicken. And this is our final product. You can see there the sauce is caramelized. You can see all that dry rub, all that green seasoning coating the chicken. Our fried rice is just on point. It looks delicious. You can see the veggies, you can see the egg. If you can smell it, man, it's delicious, amazing. So that's our meal. That is our Trinidad style barbecue and fried rice. And you use that Asian Persuasion, some of that heifer dust. This stuff is amazing. And this barbecue sauce is a little bit vinegary. It's the perfect flavor for this kind of meal. Thank you very much for tuning into What's in the Pot. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.